Frederick County sees hundreds of cases of domestic violence a year. The need for a domestic violence coordinating council has been something Frederick County has been looking to establish for quite some time.
The state's attorney's office here in Frederick County, we prosecute hundreds of domestic violence cases every year, from misdemeanor to felony level violence. We see charged cases of about 600, I would say, a year, perhaps more. And we know statistically that domestic violence is one of the least reported crimes, so it's very underreported.
Frederick County had a domestic violence coordinating council many, many years ago, but it was never a formal act of the county, a formal board or commission. It was actually developed through the court. In around 2008, it kind of fizzled out.
Prosecutor Brett Engler with the Frederick County State's Attorney's Office saw the need for a domestic violence coordinating council and was inspired to get the council moving forward.
Council member Fitzwater and I met 2 summers ago, and I explained to her my role and that I focus most of my prosecution efforts during the 8 years that I've been with the State's Attorney's Office on domestic violence intervention and prosecution. I keep on top of national issues related to domestic violence and best practices as it relates to domestic violence. What I was seeing is that other counties and locations are starting or have had domestic violence coordinating councils for some time.
County Council member Jessica Fitzwater created a bill that would officially amend the DVCC into Frederick County government, and a game plan for the DVCC was on its way.
I believe there's about 7 other counties in Maryland that have a domestic violence coordinating council. So we took a look at what some of those other counties were doing, what sorts of groups they were bringing to the table, and what their goals were, and tried to make, we wrote a bill that would sort of take those best practices and make them fit in with Frederick County, what the needs were here, what different agencies and organizations we have that are working on preventing domestic violence and educating the community about domestic violence. The DVCC, based on the bill that the County Council passed this past summer, has to meet at least 4 times annually or as often as they see fit. The Domestic Violence Coordinating Council has sort of 2 categories of membership. We have some folks that will be there based on the agency or organization that they're representing. We're including agencies like the district court, the state's attorney's office, law enforcement, the forensic nursing program at Frederick Health Hospital, the Hartley House. And then we're also looking for members from the communities. For our community members, the way that it works is the folks in the community can simply send a letter of interest and a resume, and then the county executive will appoint members and the county council confirms the members. So once we've gone through that process, then the DVCC can officially start its work.
The DVCC will be comprised of members from the community that can provide resources, solutions on how to prevent domestic abuse, and expertise on how to help victims of domestic violence.
There are going to be 17 members of the council, so it's a big group. The council will be tasked with looking at advocacy and legislation, reviewing data, and the programming. They'll be looking at what Hartley House might need in order to provide better services, but they will really be looking at how domestic violence services and law enforcement and the courts, how they're all working together for the benefit of victims.
For us specifically at the hospital and forensic services, it was important for us to be there because domestic violence is a healthcare issue. Our role will help to address the initial healthcare issues resulting from that violence, but also the long-term health consequences that we know exist and that we're seeing every single day.
Members hope that the new Domestic Violence Coordinating Council will have concrete longevity in Frederick County government, and that the Domestic Violence Coordinating Council will continuously bring awareness of domestic violence in the community.
One of the main goals is going to be to have a more coordinated effort on educating the community. So the more that people know, and the more that people know what resources are available or what to do if they need help, hopefully that we can decrease the incidence of domestic violence.